Good morning, Jake Livingston, Planning Operations for the Alaska Type 1 team, and I'm going to give you an update on the Cedar Creek Fire East Zone for Saturday, September 17th. You may have noticed some large acreage growth reported out on this incident, and that's due to the fact that the West Zone is conducting some tactical firing operations, bringing it down to their control lines. And with the changing weather conditions, as far as high humidities, cooler temperatures, and the rain we previously have received, it makes for ideal conditions to do those tactics. I mentioned the weather. It is changing. We're expecting some rain with a lot cooler conditions. So we're preparing to deal with that. Just want to make sure our firefighters are safe as far as on the roadways and then working out along the perimeter of our incident. As far as our operations out on the fire line, I'll start over by North Waldo, the campground there. We have personnel in there securing that campground area. They've been working in there for the last couple days, and they'll continue to secure the campground today. We have some hotshot crews along the 4290 road. There's an area of fire that crossed over the south side of that road, and they're going direct on the fire's edge, securing that from the 4290 road on the west side around to the east side, and that'll be ongoing for the next couple days. We've put a new division supervisor in there to oversee all those operations, so they're gathering some knowledge of what they've got as far as what's in their area, and they plan on prepping the 4290 road out to the 46. And if you can remember, previously there had been some prep work on the 4290 road off of the Cascade Lakes Highway. It's also the 46 road, depending on what map you look at. As we move down to the south, the 5897 road, operations continue there, prepping the west side of that road, primarily with ground personnel, just due to the terrain in there is a lot steeper than up to the north. But they'll continue that for the day down toward the 58 corridor. And then Odell Lake, they're working along the north shore still with structure prep and assessment. They've got about, they estimate 98% done prepping the north shore, and now they're focusing on the eastern shoulder of the lake and the western shoulder. So Shelter Cove, Sunset Cove, those areas. Moving to the east, we have Division Romeo still working out in the Diamond Peak area, Crescent Junction, just building some plans there. And once the other divisions are done, then we'll move more resources that way. We have the 4668 road and the 4660 road. Operations continue there. They're prepping the northwest side of the road, going to meet in the middle, just removing the vegetation, and much the same as the other roadways. As you move over to the Cascade Lakes Highway corridor, we're still working on the west side of that highway, 100 feet in, shaded fuel break. From various locations, we have groups of equipment and personnel just continuing that operation. And again, that's spread throughout this whole corridor. And once they get in place and start working, we close off access to fire resources moving through there just so they can get stuff done. We have a small operation going on up toward Cultus Lake. They're working on a control line up around the south side of Cultus Mountain. We have Little Cultus Lake and then Deer Lake, and they want to tie in their control line to the west side of Cultus Lake. So that's ongoing, and it will be for the next couple days. As far as the values at risk along the highway corridor, the various lodges, campgrounds, and trailheads, the fire resources continue to assess that, set up sprinklers, and do preparation as needed. And as I mentioned before, we have some fire engines and crews and other personnel identified to respond if new fires start within our fire response area. So we'll have a group assigned to that on the north end and the south end. And that's the end of today's operational update. Thanks, and I'll see you tomorrow.